Bunnies, and welcome back to a cozy space to talk about books. So I wanted to begin this little adventure of going through the next few days, just reading, enjoying, having a very cozy time and motivating us all to pick up the books we're currently reading by giving you an update, because a few things have happened since I last did a sort of vlog or a video. So most of you know I recently moved home, I set up my new home library, and since that video I have indeed reorganized it. I now have a shelf dedicated to my fantasy and my mystery section, and then I have a shelf dedicated to my lit fic and romance section. Then I also have graphic novels down there as well, and then I have a other shelf in which is dedicated to purely hardbacks, and that is a mix of genres. I've ordered 2 more shelves in which will be going the other side of the library, in which will also house my hardbacks, because I am at full capacity really on the hardback shelf if I want them all to be stood upright. Eventually I do love the messy bookshelf aesthetic, so I will be stacking books horizontally, but for the time being this is how they are looking. And then in terms of updates for reading, this week I have been really unwell, really sick, and yeah, I haven't been filming much or doing much work, but reading wise I have been doing a lot. So I finished this book, in which was so much fun, The League of Gentlewomen Witches. I had a blast with this. It's been on my shelf for quite a while, and I just love the themes it's encapsulated. So the tropes / themes it included were historical writing but with modern influence in there. It had pirates and witches and this kind of rival romance going on, but overall it just had this silly tone overlying it, and it felt very silly and not serious, and although the stakes were high, everything felt goofy, and it just was a really nice read because nothing felt detrimental or raw or real or really gritty. It just felt like this whimsical, dramatical time, and I feel like the writing style really played into this, and I absolutely adored it. Each character in here had a phenomenal part. I thought they were scoped it out perfectly. I adored the world and the plot too. I have the second book in this, I think it might be a series. I want to pick that one up soon, but I rated this a 4 stars. Then I just finished a book that came in the mail today, in which is Bloom. Oh my goodness, as soon as I heard about this it went straight on my wish list, and now I'm all moved, settled, I've started buying more and more books again, as I haven't done for months and months now. And so when I decided I was going to be buying some books, I added this one straight to my cart. It's quite small, it arrived today and I devoured it. This includes themes of sapphic romance, obsession, it had kind of weird lit fic vibes, unhinged female protagonists, and it was just phenomenal. It was so good. I don't want to say any more themes because I don't want to spoil any of this plot because it is so short. I just want to say that this went from really normal, really fun to kind of what's going on here to just absolute shock, jaw on the floor, and it was so good. I just loved it. I had such a good time with it, and I want more books like this. I'm in such a weird lit fic, unhinged, female narrator, female protagonist type of genre at the moment, and I'm just devouring those books, especially if they're sapphic or they have that sort of representation in there as well. I just feel as though, yeah, I'm just loving them, absolutely obsessed with them, and so I gave this one a 4.5 stars. Really recommend if any of those seem sound interesting to you. Then in terms of what I'm currently making my way through, I have Autumn by Ali Smith. I've wanted to pick up an Ali Smith for a while now. I mentioned this in my book haul when I hauled this book really recently, and I thought autumn was appropriate because I love autumn. I don't know realistically now reading it if it's got anything to do with autumn, but I'm quite the way through. I don't have many pages left to go, and again the prose in this are absolutely phenomenal. The writing is top par. I'm enjoying the whimsy of it. I'm enjoying how it's not grounded in reality, the shift in perspectives, this kind of unknowing as to what this book is tethered to and what it's referring to and what it's meaning, and yeah, just almost a fever dream like esque writing and portrayal that this book is taking you through. Really enjoying that. At the moment I'm just loving great writing, and that's what's driving a good book for me, so hopeful to finish this one soon so I can give you my full reviews and themes. So yes, with this adventure today we're just going to be getting cozy, having a lovely time, just spending some time together reading and just going through a few few days. So I hope you will join me. Get yourself a warming hot drink of your favourite choice, a cozy blanket, and let's get to reading, friends. Library update. So I received my 2 new shelves just now. We've built one of them and then we're just going to build the other, but I've decided that because they're going to house my other hardback slash my overfill, I think I'm going to separate my hardbacks out into big standard hardbacks and then the smaller ones, because it seems in the UK you get those 2 different sizings in hardback. So I think I'm going to put the smaller ones on the smaller bookshelves and then keep the bigger hardbacks on the bigger bookshelf, so that will give me much more space around the library. I know some of you may be a bit confused as to why I got new bookshelves when I still have space on my shelves, but it's always been a dream to have a room full of books and a room that is like a library, and so just to be able to afford to have these shelves and fill them with potential books and yeah, just kind of cultivate this library space and then bring into it books that I enjoy and love and I'm excited to read. It just, yeah, it gives me immense joy and immense pleasure, and I'm very excited to be able to have all the space for my collection to hopefully grow. And yeah, I am feeling very grateful and very lucky, but that is why I've bought new bookshelves despite having space still left on previous bookshelves. In my autistic brain, it makes sense to have things categorized in different areas. Eventually it's just going to be a mishmash mess, because that's also how my brain works. Sometimes I just have everything in one area and it's kind of just shoved on and I just remember it via memory. But yeah, that's the decision for now. So I'm going to go and do that, build the other shelf, and then get to organising. Finished Autumn and sadly only rating it a 3 stars. Although the characters and the writing was superb, I was left feeling a bit I loved the non-linear timeline aspect of this, but I just feel like the rest of the book just didn't translate in the way that I wanted it to. There was commentary on politics, there was friendship in here, family. I wrote down a few other themes. Yeah, I've got beautiful prose and a touch of whimsy as well. And I feel like that all very much rings true, and to me that is usually such a higher rating, but sadly this one did fall a bit flat. I know I picked this one up because it was autumn, and autumn's my favourite season, but apparently this is the first in a series. I mean, I know that there's spring and perhaps winter as well, but I didn't quite realise this is a series, and I'm not certain if they're connected. But again, I will pick up Addie Smith because I did enjoy her prose, I enjoyed the writing, and I enjoyed the characters, but it was just the plot and the storyline for me that just didn't quite hit home. So yeah, sadly only a 3-star from me. I'm going to pick one other book to read for the rest of this weekend, as it's now Friday. I'm going to do the next couple of days over the course of the weekend and take you along in that adventure, and then end it on Sunday. So let's go and scour my shelves and decide what to pick out to read next. I finished this book and rated it 4 stars. It felt like a hug, and it had themes of conversations with a therapist, mental health, and normalizing that. It had different formats and storytelling in here, in terms of there was sometimes actual conversations with the therapist ongoing, and then journal entry type segments too. I loved how that this was translated fiction, so there were some parts that didn't translate, or some parts in which it had a little asterisk as to what it actually meant in the native language. And I don't know, something about this just felt like such a warm hug, and it was obviously so raw, so real, and it just felt so normal. It felt so vulnerable, and it just felt like a big fresh breath reading it, because I don't know, I just feel like I haven't ever read something so frank and so honest before, and something in which I resonate with so much. So much of this I did resonate and wanted to take inspiration from. I had my key here of annotation, and those included I relate, take inspiration from this, and facts to remember. And I feel like that kind of sums up what this book gave to me. I didn't quite realize that it was part memoir, part self-help. I for some reason thought it was literary fiction, but I just highly recommend this one. If you're going through anything whatsoever, then I recommend it. Please obviously do check the trigger warnings for it. But what a joy, what a joy. So 4 stars from me, and that brings us to the end of this lovely adventure with you all. Feeling quite low energy today because I did have a lot of social activity yesterday, but I'm just enjoying basking in the sun, sat in front of the trees, breathing it all in. And yeah, I'm going to end this little adventure here. Thank you ever so much for joining, and I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a wonderful day or night. And until next time, bye.